Hello, TFMG viewers. Hope you all are having a wonderful time. The Fashion Media Group is the first and only platform rendering to the Indian fashion market. So we deliver news that is dedicated to the Indian fashion industry. On the upcoming event of Women's Day, we are hosting a very special guest today, Ashri Jaiswal, co-founder of Ziniosa. So thank you, Ashri, for joining us today. Hope you're doing well.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
So actually, I would like to start by talking a little bit about the business model of Zeniosa and how does it work?
Sure. I'll be happy to go over, what we do, who we are. So we launched Ziniosa about in 2018, a little bit more than 3 years ago. Who we are is we are India's leading and fastest growing luxury fashion rental and resale service. What that means is, we just are trying to make luxury very, very affordable to everyone out there. So you can rent any luxury product, handbags, belts, accessories from our platform for 2 days or 5 days. And if you want to buy something, then we have our pre-loved options available. Pre-loved simply means that these are products that were owned by someone else and are now available on sale. And lastly, if you have a lot of luxury products that you're not using anymore and they're just sitting in your closet and you're not utilizing them, then you can sell them on our platform on Ziniosa. So that's basically how we work.
That's just great. So may I know what motivated you to leave your career in the IT sector and pursue this unconventional business plan?
Yeah, so I'm an engineer by profession. My co-founder, coincidentally, is also an engineer by profession. So we were both in the US. We were pursuing our masters, but ever since I was a little child, I was very interested in fashion. And there was this problem that I, along with a lot of my friends faced, my family members faced this. I have nothing to wear question, right? You wake up every morning, you have so many things that you have in your closet, but you still keep asking yourself that question every morning. And I think that motivated me to start something in this segment. When I decided to launch Ziniosa, I was in the US. I had finished my master's. I was planning to on coming back to India anyway, but we were trying to look at ideas, what we can build, how we can transform India. And back then, Varun, who is my co-founder, was also very interested in the circular economy, in the subscription model, and the sustainable fashion model. And together we were like, hey, let's try and go back to India and see how we can solve this I have nothing to wear problem. And that's how Ziniosa was born.
Okay. So, can you just tell me what has been the biggest milestone for you and for the brand? And, the biggest challenge also you face, because I'm sure the Indian consumers come with a stigma to the pre-owned goods and, the status symbol.
Absolutely.
So, how do you
Absolutely.
cope up with that?
So I think the biggest milestone is that we have been able to survive. We launched in 2018. We're a bootstrapped company. So for a bootstrapped startup being in the fashion, e-commerce, luxury space, to be able to survive and be a revenue generating company, I think that's one of the biggest milestones that we chase and that we have achieved in the last 3.5, 4 years. So I think that's commendable. But you're right about the stigma bit. When we had launched back in 2018, we were very different from who we are today. One of the things that we used to do back then is we were a subscription-based rental service, meaning you get a box every month, which would have handbags, accessories, clothes of your choice. And, the stigma bit, because we had just come back from the US, so we were under the impression that, people are going to be very accepting of what the whole rental economy would be. But that wasn't the case. In fact, one of the funniest instances that I can remember is we had done a pop-up back in Bangalore. And we had someone come to our stall and we remembered interacting with her, and she didn't rent anything from us back then. But, I think after a couple of days, she contacted me on my number and said, hey, I want to rent, like I saw you at the exhibition and I want to rent 4 to 5 bags. And I was like, then I met her over coffee. And this is one of the things that Varun and I really, really like to do is, deliver some orders ourselves, talk to the customers ourselves. And I think when we met her over coffee and she was like, and we asked this question, I was like, you were there at the exhibition, all these bags were there also, like why didn't you rent it there? And she's like, oh, I was with a friend and I didn't want my friend to actually sort of know that I'm renting these products. So I think that was the case some years back, but I'm so happy to see how India has changed. It's 2022. People are so open about circular fashion, sustainable fashion. Things are really changing, especially with the millennials, Gen Zs. In fact, I would say more than 60% of the sellers on our platform are women above 40 to 45 years old. And that's a big milestone for us because, these are women who come from a very different generation. And the fact that they're open to selling their products, being more conscious about their consumption habits is something that I feel is a monumental change. And I think this change is also, we should also give them credit that with COVID, people have identified that how markets have now changed, how people have become more conscious. So I think a lot of it has to do also with the fact that people realize that they really don't need so much stuff. You can very well do with what you have.
Right, right. That's just
Yeah.
wonderful to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
I always wonder with with these rental platforms. I mean, I know it's a tough competitive industry now in India as well, but I always wonder how do you cope up with this stigma. So it's really great to hear that
No,
it's
I feel
changing.
I genuinely, yeah, and especially with the pre-loved market where people are so open to, buying something that's pre-loved, because why not? Not a lot of people are going abroad anymore because of the travel restrictions, and that's where everyone used to shop from. Another thing is all these leading luxury brands like a Gucci, Dior, Louis Vuitton are not so readily available online in India. Which
Yeah,
is also which gives companies like us a chance to grow, because then we are giving them so many options from all across the world. So I think the consumers are also changing and accepting this change.
that's wonderful. So coming to the luxury brand perspective, so how do you maintain and ensure authenticity, sorry, of the product? I mean, I think it's a very
It's a
big,
very yes,
very
yes,
big factor.
it is one of the most important factors of us doing business online, because I think that authentication is something we heavily, we've worked around the process. We've made sure that nothing that is counterfeit is actually on our platform. So what we usually do is, just to give you an example, say if you have a bag that you'd like to sell with us, and we would ask you to send us some pictures of the bag so that we can sort of virtually authenticate it. We also are partnered up. So we have about like a 5-level process for each product to be authenticated. So the first level is, our team, our in-house stylists are aware, they are experienced, they're educated enough to see some pictures and identify the 10 to 15 touch points that each brand has. After which we upload these pictures on our authentication partners that are based out of the US. They're one of the leading companies in the world who do this virtually.
Okay,
And then the product is then, once it's authenticated and when we get a certificate from them that, hey, this is authenticated, that's when it's uploaded on the website. But that's not the end of it. Once an order has also been made, before dispatch, each product is again physically checked for authentication.
okay,
So that is something that we really like to focus on.
okay.
We and in the process we have gotten a couple of counterfeit products as well, which looked so similar to the real ones. But once we uploaded it to the partner system, once our team checked it, and we were like, wow, there were like these minor things that we had missed
Yeah,
out. So it's difficult. And we also have a very strict fee. Like if we find out that your product is not authentic, then there is a fee of 5,000 that you have to pay to get your product
okay,
back. So
okay,
we're trying to cover all corners here.
okay, okay. And what happens when, a product is rented a couple of times and maybe it's a dress or a bag, and, what is the end of life process of the product? Like, what do you do after it's not fit to use anymore?
Sure. That is one of the things that really sets us apart from all the other businesses in India, is that we are a very comprehensive and a close-knit business model, meaning that if a bag of a Gucci bag has sort of finished its life, it has fulfilled the entire life cycle, then we just put it on our pre-loved platform for others to buy it. So it's as simple. We really try and believe in circular economy, and we feel that if we can do it just in house, then that would be great. So like if a bag has gone out X number of times and we feel that, there are maybe minor signs of use and it cannot be rented, then we are very transparent about the condition and we put it up on sale, and whoever wants to buy it then can buy it at a much discounted price. So always keep an eye out for these products.
Yes, definitely. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
So, also, how important is technology to your business? I mean, I'm sure all of this is, I mean, a pain to manage, if I can put it that way. So, yeah, I would really love to
Yeah.
know the technique behind
And that's a very good and fair question, because being engineers, and even when we're going out and hiring people, it looks like that when you'll be working for a company like Ziniosa, it would be like a very fashion oriented company, right? It would look very Instagrammable, but
it.
it's not. Behind the scenes are chaotic. We're looking at drastically scaling up now. We're really growing our operations. We're now present. We deliver all over India, but we have now physical warehouses in 3 to 4 cities. And how do we make sure that there is communication? How do we make sure that there are set processes? And I think that's where technology comes into play, because now we've identified that if we have to scale, we no longer can rely on manual intervention as much. So we use technology in every bit. We're trying to automate all our systems. We're trying to automate everything from as little as a WhatsApp automation system to an upload system. So yeah, there is a lot of technology and technique that goes behind. Nothing that we do, we're trying to really eliminate a lot of manual functions within the company, so that our performance gets better. So even if you're someone who's giving estimates to the customer in terms of sale, we have set systems in place that heavily reduce your time to go back to a customer and say, hey, this is how much it's going to be sold for. So yeah, we're using a lot of data as well, a lot of data prediction, a lot of data analysis to see which kind of bags would do better and which we should procure immediately. What are the set prices of some products? We have enough data now to immediately get back to the user and say, hey, if this is a Michael Kors bag, this would sell for so much. So I feel technology is very important, even in slightly non-mainstream businesses.
Right. Completely agree.
Yeah.
So, coming to your journey, your business journey, I would like to know, being a female entrepreneur in India, I mean, do you feel the industry is somehow biased against women, or maybe have you had any experience wherein you felt that, if because I am a woman, so and so was said to me, or so and so happened to me, and had it not been the other way around, I would have just be done with the thing.
Arshika, I'll be very honest here. I was very skeptical when I moved from the US. I was in the US for about 5 years, and things were so easy. Just in terms of your safety or doing things equality. And I was very concerned that will I be able to adjust once I move back to India? But I don't know if this comes as a surprise to a lot of people, but I think this is such a great time for women entrepreneurs to be doing something out there. If you really go out and look for opportunities, there are so many opportunities that we're getting only because we're women entrepreneurs. Like this chat that you and I are having, we're doing this because I am a female founder, and I don't like to be called a female founder, but I think I have gotten so many opportunities along the way. We've been incubated at NSR Cell IIM. We've been part of NASCOM because of CWE, which is Catalyst for Women Entrepreneurship. I've been a mentor and a coach with UN Women, so I help a lot of budding entrepreneurs that are trying to do something in the sustainable business side of things. And thankfully I have gotten these opportunities because there are so many platforms out there in the country that are promoting women entrepreneurship. So I think this is a great time to be doing something, because if you step out and if you see, there are so many grants, there are so many programs, there are so many funding opportunities that are available to women right now. So I think this is a great time to be a woman. I've personally not had a lot of bias, you know and I don't even dwell on that fact, because I'm here to do my job. I give in my 100% and I try to get things done, be it a woman or a man I'm interacting with. My job is to just get the job done.
That's so wonderful to hear such a fresh perspective on this such a controversial topic, and
Oh yes,
I'm
yeah,
really glad. I'm really glad that finally the efforts all these women have been putting in to normalize females
absolutely.
working is actually making a change. So that's
Absolutely. I
really great.
think I've been very lucky at my professional and personal front where I've had such supportive family and very supportive coworkers and very supportive, group of mentors who've really pushed us. So I think it's a fantastic time to be an entrepreneur in India right now.
Perfect. So may I know what is the one rule that you never break, related to your personal life or your professional life? The one thing you always stick to, your mantra, basically.
I think one of the things that I've learned in the last 4 years, I would say, of doing this is we really, um, and this is something that we didn't know when we launched, is all of us have this entrepreneur or like a startup bias where we love our idea so much that we are blind to what others' perspective is. And I think when we had launched, that is the bias that we went in. The website we created, the business model that we created was perfect because it was perfect according to us. And I think that was shattered heavily when we launched it, because we were like, hey, we thought this is perfect, but our customers think that it's not. There are a lot of changes that we had to do in our business model and our website. And I think uh, just within 6 months of understanding that, I made it a mantra that I'm going to make sure I listen to my customers. I'm going to make sure I'm very agile in terms of whatever we're doing. So we no longer say no to anything now. If our customers asked us for it, we just try to make it work. We don't even try to. And I think the other thing in combination to this is we are not always, you know initially we were chasing for perfection, but I think now we're like, okay, let's get started and we'll improvise as we go. Let's not waste time. So I think these two things are very important, is to listen to your customers and not do something that you feel is perfect. And secondly, stop chasing for perfection, because that just delays, you know um, delays maybe you're going live or doing things. So it's better to just get started and learn along the way and then reach perfection. So I think these are the two things that entrepreneurs all over the world are facing. And you just need to come out of your bubble and be like, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to get started and then
Accept
we'll see what
criticism
happens.
more than the compliments.
Yes, absolutely. I will talk to your customers. I mean, we had a mentor who asked us to talk to, say, about 1,500 customers before we meet him, which was
Okay.
after a week. And we were like, how are we going to do that? Because every time we call someone, they're like, hey, I don't want to talk like this, that. So we just went out and set up a pop up in one of the hotels in Bangalore, and we had like 700 to 800 people who came to our stall. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you need to come up with innovative ideas and just be out there, talk to your
Right.
customers, and whatever they say is what you need to do. That's what.
Right. So, coming to the last question, I just want you to, share or anything you want to put out there to, other aspiring entrepreneurs, other aspiring women who are at that verge of starting their business, but just need that final last push. So, what would you like to
Right,
say to
right. I would say that now is as good a time as any, like back when even I had started, we were trying to plan so many things. We were trying to document everything, make processes, business models. And I think anyone who wants to just start, my only advice to them would be to just get started and figure it out along the way. As I mentioned before, I think that's the biggest advice. I wish someone had told me that, is like, stop waiting to get that perfect website, to get the perfect packaging, to get the perfect social media, to have the perfect team. I mean, aim to get all these things, but just get started, be out there, and always ask for help. I think that's one of the things that women usually tend to not do, is we don't ask for help. There's so much help out there. Like, I've been able to get so many things done just by posting something on LinkedIn or posting something on Instagram. So I think just go out there. There are people that are just out there waiting and willing to help you. There are mentors. Feel free to connect. I feel a lot of women in my mentorship sessions at UN and some other places that I like to mentor with. And I think one of the things they come and tell me is, we're very shy. we don't like telling our family members or our friends that this is what we do. And I was like, just be shameless. Just be shameless and get the work
Right.
done. Build your personal brand. Like, go out there, talk about what you've been doing, post about it on LinkedIn, because I think that's extremely important. So your personal brand, being shameless, just be out there, get started. And I think once you do that, just good things happen along the way anyway.
That's a wonderful message, and I think even I would like to implement it in the near future.
Absolutely,
that,
absolutely.
just follow my instincts and go with the flow. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ashri, for this wonderful
Thank you
interview and for the time
so
you
much.
spent here. Like, thank you very
I
much.
It's just a pleasure.